So we see this national high school movement going, and we kind of narrow our minds to the competitive side where it's just a race. But I think that's just such a small part of what this is actually doing. And what this is doing, it is embodying like the human spirit, right? It is taking something that you love to do, that you can be competitive at, but also flipping it around and having it provide you this extreme excitement and fun and joy. And also you then are happier to go out and share that. You share it with your parents or your neighbor or your cousin, and all of a sudden you're this conduit to this happiness and this thing that people are like, well, I never even thought I would ever do that. It's why we see coaches, it's why we see parents like picking up the bike kind of after the fact.
We met with cycling enthusiasts and volunteers from across the state. Everyone we met said, hey, are you working with Hal? You're working with Hal Miller? Is Hal Miller doing this? I would come to learn that Hal's reputation preceded him because of his being a longtime advocate for increased bicycle opportunities in Idaho. Hal has built trails, produced mountain bike races, operated cycling clubs, and supported youth cycling for well over a decade. When Hal learned of NICA in his home state, he jumped at the opportunity. With his race production background, as well as a teenage son racing at the national level, Hal quickly became one of the most valuable contributors to the Idaho League's early success. Hal connected most of the core racing staff in Idaho, which led to the flawless execution of its inaugural season. Hal's company, Larson Miller Medical Waste Disposal, also donated the Idaho League trailer, which I have to say is the best league trailer in all of NICA. And that's a big deal right there. I give you a thumbs right now.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Hal Miller, perhaps one of Hal's most valuable contributions to the Idaho's inaugural season was his volunteer role as a race announcer. Hal can talk, and he likes to talk. And Hal did it. Hal rocked the microphone all season long, announcing a race action, thanking our wonderful sponsors, and conducting side and post-race interviews with our student athletes. And not only can Hal talk, though, Hal was able to this last season put his money where his mouth is. Most recently, Hal Miller threw down a challenge during the Cliff Bar Family Foundation Share the Ride campaign, and where Hal Miller challenged the league community to raise $14,000. And if the league community could do that, Hal Miller and Larson Miller would close the gap to our goal of $20,000. Well, when the dust settled, we had raised over $25,000. This past fall. Thanks to Hal Miller and Larson Miller Medical Waste. The Idaho League will be bigger, better, and more inclusive than ever for 2016 and beyond. So it's my pleasure to introduce Hal Miller as a race partner. Come on out, Hal. Let's give it up for Hal Miller.
Is this on? Oh, it is on. So, I don't have 8 hours to talk like I normally would at a NICA event, unfortunately. I'm a little nervous. Yeah. I never usually get nervous, just to let you know, so I'm going to visualize everybody in their underwear, just so everybody knows. But the NICA staff, you're making it a little bit difficult on me because you're not wearing any. So, next time, let's fix this problem, guys. Here's Lucas. So, I was asked to say why I did what I did. Well, I was raised poor. We didn't have much. My father always made sure I had a bicycle. And now I'm to the point in my life, I'm making sure other kids have bicycles, besides my own. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is at.
Yeah.
So football, step up and do it again. Huh? Make mistakes a little bit. So, anyway, that's my story. They pretty much summed it up. I don't really have to say much more. You know, cycling was a cool sport. I always wanted to do it. I took the fast track through college. 7 years later, I got an engineering degree. My present to myself was a Trek 5200, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And that kind of got put in the garage for a while. I got fat. I was traveling all over the world, being a research and development engineer. And some friends of mine said, "Man, you should start cycling again." So I started cycling again, and with my beautiful wife sitting over here, allowed me to buy a Gary Fisher. And Gary's here tonight. And, oh, there he is right there. And I get to meet him today. That was so cool. I'm still putting it on Facebook. With that Gary Fisher, I lost 30 pounds. And I got my health back. And so it's, you know, the biking is cool. And it's cool that we can bring it to all the high school kids. So thank you, and donate.